now we are entering the AI era, which is like completely different from both of those previous eras. Like,
Yeah.
how do you think that it actually impacts like the work of an HR professional?
First thing that I always say is you have to think AI now. I mean, in the sense, it's a mind shift change. You have to start thinking, how am I going to use AI for every phase of my journeys? And I mentioned there were many journeys in HR, but you are talking pretty much on the hiring. The areas that I mentioned earlier in hiring, like for an example, branding, right? Branding, we have to work with, um, usually we used to have like a corporate communication team or a marketing team in an organization. So when you are dealing with larger clients, mostly international clients, you actually don't sell your products in Sri Lanka. You mostly your product is basically your human resources. You want to brand it. There you need to have the right creatives, and then of course, how are you going to kind of use the social media? How can you have like real time feedback coming in, sentiments, and we are attracting a different generations like Gen Alphas or Gen Z, what they call, right? And their perceptions and their way of thinking and what they value is very different. So there is a deeper science to that branding, right? So very pretty interesting area on the employee branding, right? Creating that employee value proposition. And sourcing, I think a little bit of Nevan touch upon. So now you have application tracking systems, and they are basically AI. The product itself has an AI layer, so you can basically type and prompt and get your CV shortlisted. So then interviews, basically, the basically videos, video based ones, and videos are getting recorded, transcribed very easily. Those can be analyzed, right? And also the emotions can be now detected, right? But probably whatever you talk, how you talk, and your gestures, your eye, contact, and all those, able to kind of say whether these guys confident or not, or bluffing or things like that. And I know when I was doing my AWS certifications, they use these for fraudulent fraud detection, right? Your eye movements too, and all those stuff. So that's another area that is getting involved in. And you will have 365 bots, right? Just like your bot. I mean, I was interested about Talwin initially because the reason is it was aligned with the consultancies that I used to do. Because the reason is you're 24/7 available, and also this is speech to speech, and most of the problems that I had in recruitment is going to solve, right? And the selections also, we have seen earlier, as I mentioned you, the recording and all, which I mentioned you, was very tedious. You had to go through multiple records and things like that. Now it's a matter of scanning all those things. I mean, something like this notebook LM, if you have used, right? Notebook LM, you have a video, you have an audio, you have a PDF, you can have so many multi-model inputs, whereas it would be able to extract all those things and give you some beautiful podcast or something like that. Similarly, the AI would be able to look at the interview, the transcript, your CV, everything, right? And then would be able to give you like a very nice profile of this person, and maybe probably on a dashboard or something say, hey, these guys are the ones who comes on top, right? It's a real game change. And even onboarding. When I talk about these things, sometimes even the HR guys have not even thought about them. Like for an example, even using something we call these agentic processes, right? Now it's called agentic. I mean, we are moving from RPA to agentic processes. The only difference is like RPA is like very rule based, right? It's automation, and we define rules. But now agentic means you just give a goal, right? I saw even on your Talwin, there's something called give a higher level goal. I want to recruit the best HR manager in Sri Lanka or something. I want to recruit the best Java guy. And the rest of the things are basically going to be decided by the AI. And they're going to talk to multiple different systems, right? And you can use AR, VR, virtual reality, and your augmented reality, right? For your onboarding and for your training development, right? So that's why I mentioned it's kind of when you look at it, it's sky's the limit, right? And even I'm just telling that you can even make very complicated kind of scenarios, like if you're recruiting somebody, we'll say for a very very specific job, you can even create like a role play, right? And we'll say you want to have like a negotiator, right? So how you will probably have to have a conversation with a speech to speech bot, which has which will really test you, certain areas. So it is going beyond like this questionnaire based like leadership and communication skills kind of thing. I mean, I don't know, when I look at it, sorry, my imagination also goes, with all these possibilities coming in. So it means what you need to understand, the audience who's here needs to understand is, see, it opens up a new opportunities, right? And when you're doing this, the next 2 years will be on implementation, right? I mean, for an example, so in your audience, who's here, you will be part of adapting, and that's a very important part in organizations. Because what I have seen is many tools, but people don't think AI, and people do not transform, right? So that's why we used to call it this transformation, right? So now you can be a champion in transforming the organization into this new real, whatever we call the new normal or whatever, right? That name came from COVID, by the way, but it's going to be really a new normal once these getting implemented. So I think if everyone here who's joining can take that role, your job for 2 years is guaranteed. Because you are now putting the agentic processes, you are putting the new tools, you are doing the change management piece. You will be basically, looked at by the organization as a very futuristic, guy kind of thing. And please remember, when you're implementing, it comes with teething problems. That also I have to tell you. Sometimes it is not as your status quo, right? So these tools may give some problems. It might mean 100% optimized. It may give you accuracy problems and things like that. But you will not find anything 100% accurate. Every model, like when I do my data science lectures, I used to say every model is known, is wrong, but they are useful, right? So you can actually start implementing these things. So that's my take on this, Dinesh.
Okay, that's a very interesting answer. Never. I'm gonna throw a pretty tough question at you.